This is the Vancouver2010.com podcast, your window into the Vancouver 2010 Olympic and Paralympic Winter Games. For this podcast, we went to Canada Olympic Park in Calgary, and there, Canadian luge slider Tristan Walker and his coach and Olympian Kyle Connolly gave us a lesson in luge. Olympic luge consists of 3 disciplines: men's singles, women's singles, and doubles. And during the 2010 Winter Games, all luge competitions and its cousins, bobsleigh and skeleton, will take place at the Whistler Sliding Center.
I'm Kyle Conley. I'm the junior national team head coach. When you try and explain luge to somebody who's never done it before, usually I say that it's a combination in between water sliding and tobogganing, 2 things that as a kid you love to do, and you multiply the speed by about 10 times and, freeze the water and you have luge. It's just an awesome experience.
Hi, my name is Tristan Walker and I'm on the Canadian Junior National Luge team. I was 9 years old my first run down the track.
This one's Michelle. This is a luge sled. This main part here is the part you lie down in. The coffins here are what you drive with. There's 2 announcements before you go. There's first one is it'll be Tristan Walker to the start position, wherever start you may be starting on the track. And then as soon as the track is clear from the slider before you is off the track, they're going to say track is clear for Tristan Walker. And then you'll get a green light, and from there you have 30 seconds to get yourself in the zone before you take off down the track. Luge is a seated start. People usually get it mixed up with skeleton, where they have the running start. So the handles, probably the most important part of your run, because the faster you can get off the handles and get accelerating down the hill, the faster you're going to be at the bottom. Start consists of load, you push back into your compression, where you try to get as much stretch out of all your muscles as you can, and then from there you use pretty much your entire body like a slingshot and pull yourself out. And after that, there's depending on the start ramp, you do paddles, and depending on the start ramp, decides how many you do. You have spikes on your gloves, and you just paddle down the ramp.
The only sports that are measured to a 1,000th of a second are luge and F1 racing, and a 1,000th of a second at 120 kilometers is about that much. So really, when we're talking about losing a race by that much, it can be anything from pointing your toes to, making those small little movements. We have all different types of curves, of course. This one that Tristan will be entering here is called the Kreisel corner. Kreisel is the German word for circle, and so it's 270 degrees, so he goes in one way, comes all the way around, and will come flying out the other side. And it's usually a little bit more difficult of a corner just because of the pressure at the end. And you have a wonderful straightaway that if you screw it up, it's a long ways down when you're hitting the walls. What you're going to see is that he's going to be laying stretched out on the sled. When a luge athlete is in their best position, they won't actually be looking where they're going. His toes will be nicely pointed straight ahead and quite high in the best aerodynamic position possible. When you see a luge athlete sliding down the track, our heads are not supported. So it means that our neck muscles are responsible for keeping our heads off the ice. When a luge athlete loses the ability to hold up their head anymore, it's called losing your head, and pretty much it snaps back and you see a person pretty much in this position here like this. It's never a comfortable feeling, and so going through some of the curves here in Calgary, we pull about 4 G's of pressure. In some of the tracks in Europe, we can pull upwards of 6 G's, and so that's like having 6 heads on top of your head with only your neck supporting it. So it can be a lot of weight to be holding just by yourself. So it takes a lot out of you. When you're up around 6 to 8 runs, you're absolutely dead by the end.
The Ice House at Canada Olympic Park is a world-class indoor sliding facility where bobsleigh, luge, and skeleton athletes practice their starts during the warm summer months.
This is a luge sled, so what we call a Kunstbahn sled. It's the type of luge that we see Tristan doing out on the hill. So it has this fiberglass pod. This is what the athlete actually lays in. Their feet come out and push onto these. These are called coffins, and by pushing on these, it actually is what drives the sled down the hill. The other thing that we can use is our shoulders in the back. By pushing on the back of the pod, there's flex in here that helps it to drive it on its way down. Lastly, we have skeleton. Skeleton is actually the oldest of all the sports. It was the first one in the Olympic Games. Now, what happened was that it took a little bit of a hiatus for a little while and started coming back in 2002. So, skeleton is head first on your stomach. The sleds are very minimalist, so your head would come this way here, you would lay in this area, and you would grab on the outside. This is a bobsleigh. This is a two-man bobsleigh, so it's a much larger vehicle for heading down the track. So inside, where the driver would sit would be pretty much right here. As you can see, these things aren't built for comfort, they're built for speed. These two rings here, they would have one ring in each hand, and so what they would do is they would pull on these rings and it moves the runners underneath back and forth. The driver would sit right here. Usually there's a small little backrest here for the driver, and then the brakeman sits here in the back. These are the handles for the brakes, so by pulling up on these, that's what actually drops the brake on the bottom of the sled.
To learn more about this sport or for other podcasts, go to Vancouver2010.com.